Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Hemminger.
And now we are going to hear from Sean Diddy Combs.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great time. Before I get to my congratulations, I want to tell you the story of Dia Sims. She started out as my assistant, then she became my chief of staff, then she started running my marketing company, the president of Blue Flame Marketing and Media. Then she became the the president of Combs Wine and Spirits. Then she became the president of Combs Enterprises, the whole empire. Now, I don't know anybody that has earned that many promotions. That's a lot of hard work. What she's represented as a woman has really been inspiring, and it's been great to see. So congratulations, Dia. We love you, we appreciate you. You are our fearless leader. I will follow you wherever you want to go. Congratulations.
So I will never forget the very first time that I sat down to have a meeting with Dia. She walked in, and the first thing that struck me was just how stunningly beautiful she was. There wasn't a single eyelash out of place. As we sat down at the table, the second thing, though, that struck me was the 3 phones that she carefully laid out. And I remember thinking to myself, this is going to be a very short meeting. Well, almost 3 hours later, what felt like 5 minutes was one of the best conversations I've ever had in my life. She wanted to dig in to better understand the organization that I work with called Thread. She wanted to understand the 9th grade students that we enroll, students who rank in the bottom 25% of their class and have GPAs on average of 0.15, so not 1.5, but 0.15 on a 4.0 scale. Yes, and students then stay with us for 10 years. We lovingly joke this is longer than our average American marriage. And we do for our students what you would do for your own children, what she does for her daughter: packed lunches, rides to school, help them with their homework. What's interesting is that most people think that if you haven't reached a child by the age of 5, that it's simply too late, that if you take a young person in West Baltimore who's failed multiple grades, has multiple felony arrests, that they're going to end up dead or in jail, and there's no reason to even try. But not Dia. Dia understood that what has led to the success of our Thread students, when only 6% of their counterparts in Baltimore City schools graduate, in Thread it's 87%, is that it's not programs and services that they need, but it's relationships. It's to be surrounded with people who believe in them and who care about them, people who can see them and hear them and understand them. That person is Dia. So when she agreed to join our board, I was yet again stunned. She brought the same efficiency, authenticity, hard work to our organization that propelled her from being an executive assistant to CEO of Combs Enterprises. Her ability to be present has allowed her to run a multi-million-dollar bi-coastal organization in a male-dominated field and dominate. Now, for those of you that know Dia, none of this would be surprising to you. She has this unique ability to see the people behind the ideas. When you're with her, you know that she's listening. She's present and focused in all situations, and she's never threatened by others' voices. Instead, she tries to lift them. She recognizes that for one person's voice to be heard, others don't need to be diminished. And the beautiful thing about Dia is that it's her ability to see us that helps all of us to see ourselves. With her, it's a given that she's going to show up, but it's so much bigger than that. It's how she shows up. Dia and her husband made the bold decision to move back to Baltimore in 2015, just months after the death of Freddie Gray. Let's just say people weren't exactly clamoring to move to our city at that time. In an area where in West Baltimore the statistics are worse than in most third world countries for education crime, the areas that we work in, most people aren't even willing to drive through. What did Dia do? She rolled her sleeves up and got to work. We decided we would bring students, volunteers, collaborators, board members, staff together in groups of 10 to do acts of kindness. Our group was to go to a retirement center and sing carols at the holidays and decorate. I had recently been in a car accident, had a severe concussion, and was in horrible shape, and I had completely flubbed the event. I had not bought the supplies needed. I didn't even have like a CD player to play the carols. It was a complete disaster, and I remember showing up thinking, I have ruined the holiday season for these people. And then Dia walked in. I swear to you, she must have literally gone to every Rite Aid and CVS in like a 10-mile radius and bought every holiday decoration from every store. I have never seen that many decorations in one place in my life. And remember that neighborhood I told you that most people won't even drive through? She brought her daughter. We spent the evening decorating, singing carols, making holiday cards. But the most important thing was that she made everyone in that space feel seen, heard, and known. That is what it is to know Dia Sims. It is a great honor to present to her for the person that inspires us all to dream big, be fearless, be present, make things happen efficiently, and exemplify the mission of Combs Enterprises. Be great. Please welcome Dia Sims.
Can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving. Can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving.
Thank you so much, Sarah. When I found out that this year's theme was Women Who Connect the World, I immediately thought of Sarah. The entire premise of Thread, the organization she just described, is about the interconnectivity of all of us, that what happens to one of us really, at some point or another, happens to all of us. Sarah's actually a scientist with a PhD in biomedical engineering, and she chooses to laser focus her brilliance on helping one another because she understands that helping another person is really helping yourself. The organization of Thread does the ever-increasing hard work and the need of connecting communities truly one to another, truly from one zip code to where there's extreme poverty to a zip code where there's extreme wealth. In Baltimore, where we live, within 5 blocks, and the average life expectancy in some areas drops 20 years. Sarah has the courage of a knight and the mouth of a sailor. Exactly. Exactly the recipe for badass goodness and the exact kind of woman I'm so honored to call a friend. Thank you to IPG and the New York Women of Communications for this truly necessary event that brings together a group of women, both on this stage and in the room, that could likely solve all of the world's problems. When I came on this stage, just the power of these women is actually electric. Like, you can feel it. And when I think about starting as Sean's assistant and now being recognized in a forum like this, truly, and I have a lot of words, but truly I have no words to describe this moment. It has recently become fashionable to talk about the need for women in leadership. But I also want to say thank you. Well, first let me say thank you, Me Too, and Time's Up, to ensure that it is as relevant as it should be, a past due message that it is. But before it became a point of hot topics, if you will, Sean Diddy Combs has always aligned himself with smart women. He has strategically built his different businesses, billion-dollar businesses, with women at the helm. We have women in this house here. Is Erica Pittman over there, Chief Marketing Officer at our water. The CEO of our television is also a woman, his Chief of Staff, the head of our agency, myself. We have, over and over again in the past 20 years, put women in places of leadership because it is just simply smart business. Now, it's the right thing to do, and I think this has come up a couple of times, but women are 50% of the population, like half, and less than 5% of CEO roles on the S&P 500. It's just Makes no sense, right? Because I love math, and it just doesn't make math sense. And the reality is, some recent research done out of Boston shows that women CEOs in that same S&P 500 outperform their peers 3-1. 3-1. Everybody, please use that in your next salary negotiation. So very simply, if you will not do it for your hearts, do it for your wallets, because women are just good for business. Now, today's theme, again, is women who connect the world, but often it comes down to the people who rule your world. So I want to first say thank you to Cindy Berger, who is the living embodiment of women who connect the world. My team at Combs Enterprises, who make the impossible possible for breakfast every Tuesday. My family who's here, my wonderful sister Monique, whose capacity for compassion I learn from every day. My Aunt Deanne, who I'm named after, who taught me very early on that everyone has something to teach, and make sure that you listen and find inspiration all around the world. My dad, who taught me that character counts and that love is shown with your hands and feet. My mom, who's not here today, she's home rooting for me, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 9 years old. And as she began to lose her ability to walk, she never lost her spirit that all things are possible. Growing up, she would say to me, "What does not knowing have to do with finding out?" So to this day, I cannot say the words "I don't know" without feeling like it's some kind of filthy curse word. My daughter, Emery, who's 5-year-old daughter, whose boundless joy sets the course for me every day. And my husband, my handsome, dashing husband, Keith, here, who I told about when we got married over 10 years ago, I'm just gonna do this job and commute for like 6 months, and then I'll stay back closer to home. And he has still steadfastly supported me on this journey and makes me laugh and feel beautiful every day. The women's empowerment movement will not work without the partnership of men, and I appreciate my husband being out in front of that mission. In closing, we talk about women who connect the world, right? Which is the beginning of our story. But the reality is we do even more than that, as is our custom. We create, and indulge me a little Dr. Seuss-y moment, if you will, but we create, curate, clarify, and codify. Sometimes we laugh just to keep from crying. We crystallize, calculate, then calibrate. We care and compliment and congratulate. Sometimes more than we should. We compromise and collaborate. Sometimes we concede an idea that we conceived, and we should not. Sometimes we give credit when it's not to, when in fact, the credit belongs to you. What I rarely see actually now is women who complain or condemn. We are creating a new house of femme. The women in this room are the conductors of the World Symphony. We are commissioners, we are commanders, we are conquerors. Thank you for this honor. Congratulations to all of us.